You ready?
Hey, Tanner.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Off Axis Podcast. I'm here with Michael Lipari. Michael, explain to the audience what you do.
Hi, guys. First, say hello, and thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yeah, definitely.
What do I do? I'm a circus artist.
Yeah, so you do like a lot of aerial. We actually just finished editing Michael's show reel. I helped him out with that. Michael, you've done like America's Got Talent, Ellen DeGeneres. Like, what else have you done? Cirque du Soleil?
I've done a lot of stuff. I've been in the industry for over 20 years, as well as coaching and teaching for 14, 15 years. I've worked with a lot of, I'm very fortunate to have worked with a lot of amazing artists in the industry, touring and TV shows. A lot of my work has been very commercial, and I've worked with Taylor Swift, Kylie Minogue, the list goes on and on to be honest with you.
It's a pretty impressive show reel. It actually was like nonstop, really big shows, and it's like a long list of, I'm sure your resume is very impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, I've also lived in 9 different countries, actually.
Oh, wow.
Performing and doing contracts, as well as traveled to over 100 countries throughout my career. And fortunately, my work and my passion has allowed me to travel, and what's brought me to those places. So
yeah, nothing better than that.
No, yeah. Well, that's, I guess, they say to do what you love to do, you know, and doing that, you never work.
Yeah, for sure. So we've both performed on America's Got Talent. You were in 2010. How was that for you?
So my partner and I, Ashley Dejean, we were the first aerialists to ever perform in the live shows in the history of the show at that point. And we went all the way to the finale. And I mean, it was an amazing experience. I kind of wish times are different now. So the publicity and the intensity and the popularity of the show is so much bigger than it was back then. But it was an amazing experience. I mean, it had its challenges. To be honest with you, as a specialty act and as an aerialist, you can't rehearse at home, you know what I mean? Whereas it's a little bit easier for singers and dancers who can go home and practice in their hotel room or create choreography and practice all night, where the intensity of doing live shows, realistically, we had like 2 days a week to come up with a new act, because we had costume fittings, meetings, B-roll, filming, things like this, which you know because you've obviously done the show. So it really made it even more dangerous and exciting and nerve-wracking. I mean, nothing compares to performing in front of a live audience, live judges, and live television. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So there's something to be said in that you really can't experience anywhere else. I think.
Definitely a fun experience. I agree with you. When same for me, when we did the show in 2012, social media wasn't really around yet. So we didn't really like catch that big wave around, like if you're doing it in 2015 or so, when Instagram was out, you probably have like 500,000 followers just because of that show. But because like Facebook was barely coming out around the time that we were doing it, didn't really like catch that huge benefit. Yeah,
I agree with you completely. Our videos, there's millions of views on like YouTube and stuff like that, but it's not linked to anything on social media, like my own personal accounts and things like that. I've had people contact me from Malaysia and like random places, like, I'm in my hotel room and I just saw you on TV. So the broadcast was literally international. So imagine now what that would be if we had that opportunity and the magic of social media. But anyway, it was an amazing experience. We got great footage out of it. I'm not sure if you had the same experience, but we left on a good note, and the judges had nothing bad to say. And it was a win-win.
Yeah, definitely a fun experience. And how was the Ellen show? How did that come along?
Oh, I just got goosebumps. Well, it was really cool because when I was a kid, I had always wanted to be on the Rosie O'Donnell show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then growing up, that she kind of went away, and then Ellen came into the picture, and I was like, oh my God, I always wanted to be on Ellen. And this is before America's Got Talent also, actually. And was a huge fan, and they reached out to me actually and got in contact with me and said they'd like to invite me to the show to perform as a guest. And so, that's how it happened. And I went, I performed, And it was exciting to meet her and just to have the opportunity to be there and also to see a dream come to like fruition.
For sure. What year was that in? Do you remember?
That was 2007.
2007. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
I told you I've been around for a long time.
I've been around the block.
I've been around for a long time.
Nice. What would you say is your biggest accomplishment as an aerialist?
I mean, to be honest with you, I could have never predicted 3/4 of the things that I've accomplished and done in my life and my career. And I'm so grateful and blessed for these opportunities. Like I said, I've lived in 9 different countries, and in these countries, I've created different shows on like the Cirque du Soleil scale or even bigger, to be honest with you. And working with artists like Jean-Paul Gaultier and Dolce & Gabbana. And these are just costume designers, but huge celebrities, big names in massive productions. So it's kind of hard to say because each opportunity brought its own new experiences for me and new challenges. America's Got Talent was amazing. I did a world tour with Kylie Minogue and was the aerial captain. And we did 35 countries and 50 cities in under 6 months.
That's amazing.
So yeah, we did tour bus, planes, trains, like everything you can possibly think of. And sometimes it really was the life of like, I don't want to say sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but like we were in a city, we did a show, jumped on the bus and drove to the next city. So it really was that life. And those are like once in a lifetime opportunities. You know what I mean? I've had a few opportunities, but you never know. You have to take everything and enjoy and just be so in the moment because you never know if you're going to have that opportunity again. And they are once in a lifetime opportunities, but if they do come around again, it's really awesome.
Yeah. Those moments when you're on, like you can't appreciate those moments enough. And like, even nowadays, like 10 years later, I still look at those moments when I was on tour for professionally.
Totally.
That was my job, was just be on tour. And it is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Like that's like your life is just travel, perform.
I hope my mom's not listening.
Shout out to your mom.
Right. No, but it is true. And it's an experience that I don't think, unless you've done it, you can't really relate. I mean, you can talk about it, but it's just a whole lifestyle in itself. And what's more difficult for me now, actually, at this point in my life, is I've traveled for a majority of my career. That traveling and touring and being on the road is my home. So now when I come back to whatever home is, doesn't feel like home to me anymore.
Yeah.
So that offers a whole new aspect of trying to like be grounded and be comfortable in one place and things like that. So yeah, definitely for me with all the travel, like the world has become my home and what's most comfortable. Like being in a hotel room for me is more comfortable than being home, you know? So anyway, it's been amazing time in my life. And I don't know if I should say I just turned 40. So turning into like a new leaf, new chapter, new beginnings in my life, but continuing to move forward in like where I fit in and what I want to do next. So the last 4 or 5 years I've transitioned. Sorry, that's the tequila talking. I transitioned into doing more like aerial coordinator, choreographer, director, creator, things like that. And being on that side of the thing, which I'm extremely passionate about as well.
I really enjoy being on the production side because it's more like you're not just creating your own personal movements that you're doing on stage. You're literally creating the scene that people are actually seeing. And
totally.
It's very rewarding, actually.
I agree 100%. The first show that I created and directed, wrote, created, directed, produced, did everything, choreographed. It was a holiday show for Royal Caribbean. And I don't think I've ever been more nervous in my entire life. Like performing, sometimes I don't get really nervous anymore, but you get nervous. But this is totally different because you're responsible for everything.
You're worried about everyone.
Everyone, everything, the reaction, like how it's going to be perceived. Like the entire responsibility is on you.
Yep.
Which is, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. But for me, that's like that high or that adrenaline rush that you get from like performing and creating. Like it's magic. It really is magic. Just like tonight creating my new show reel with you. It's like when it comes together, it's magic. So, and I think that's why I love doing what we do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I even take it a step farther when I'm like watching the show. I'm like, did he sleep enough last night? Did I make sure that they ate before? Like, did I shit?
Right, totally.
Did I get everything covered?
Totally, 100%.
Yeah, you like the stress levels like next level because
Yeah.
you're worrying not just about yourself performing and like accomplishing what you're supposed to do, is you got to worry about all these other people as well.
100%.
Yeah. So okay, let's go a step back. How did you get into it? Did you do gymnastics or what did you do growing up?
To be honest with you, I had a dream. I know that
Martin
sounds
Luther King.
clear. Yeah, exactly. I know that sounds cliche, but literally, I come from a really big family, a single mother, 4 brothers, so 5 kids. And I always wanted to do gymnastics. I always wanted to perform. I wanted to do these things, but never had the opportunity. I ended up, after high school, I ended up getting a job at Disneyland in California, and doing shows and characters and entertainment and things like that. And I worked there for 5 years. And so, which led me to having this dream of my whole life as I was a kid. Every Halloween was a clown for Halloween.
Really?
And I always wanted to be in the circus, and I always wanted to run away with the circus. And just visualizing and creating that, working for Disney, I did a show at the El Capitan in Hollywood, and there were circus artists and performers there, and I was like, oh my God, I was more interested in their job than my job. Long story short, I'll try, because I know I like to talk a lot, but basically, they told me about the National Circus School in Montreal, and like a month later, I was like, I'm going to go to Montreal.
You went there?
So I did. I went to Montreal and I auditioned at the National Circus School. However, let me remind you that I'm not a dancer. I'm not a gymnast. I'm not nothing. I am a performer and an artist. And I was training as an actor in LA and performing arts since like 15 until this point that I went to Montreal, which I was 22 years old.
Yeah.
Yes, my first real show was a stunt show in Taiwan, actually, in 2001. So then going back to 2002 now, I moved to Montreal. I went to Montreal. I auditioned. I didn't get in. And actually, it was kind of a joke because I didn't have a skill set to actually like audition with.
Yeah.
Because I had never done anything before. So I was like, oh, whoa. But I fucking did it. And am I allowed to say fuck?
You can say
Sorry.
fuck.
Okay. So I did it. I went and then I came back and I took everything that I learned from the audition of what I need to do and how to hone in on that. And I basically trained. I mean, I have a long story, but this is real. I don't know. Are our listeners listening?
I hope they're listening.
Well,
if they're
I think
listening.
the most key important point of this is the fact that like manifesting and visualizing, because for me, and be very specific and clear what you ask for in the universe. Because I'm a firm believer of like manifesting our dreams and being able to have the opportunity to have everything our hearts desire. The only thing that gets in our way is us. So for me, I put out into the universe that I wanted to work for Cirque du Soleil. And so Verikai came to town, and a friend of mine took me to the show, and we sat in the front row, and the Atherton twins flew over us. And I was like, that's what I want to do. But the crazy thing is, and so once I like started meeting people in LA, a friend of mine, being clear. I asked to work for Cirque du Soleil. I ended up getting a job with Cirque du Soleil at Verikai as an usher. So I was watching Verikai every night in LA, getting to see the show, like immersing myself in that. But I was sweeping fucking popcorn and taking tickets. Like,
you got to start somewhere.
You know what I mean? But I threw myself into this situation and I asked the universe, hey, I want to work for Cirque du Soleil. I put it out there. And that's what I mean about being specific. So the same thing now, I moved to Montreal and I said, I want to get into Cirque du Soleil. I didn't get in the first time I auditioned for the school. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move to Montreal anyway. Let's backtrack really quickly. So in LA, the studio I was training at, Stella Ume, who was an Olympic gymnast for Canada and the original triple trapeze in Verikai, we became best friends because she left the show and moved to LA. So then Kevin and Andy, who flew over my head, also we became friends because they were all friends. And I decided to move to Montreal anyway. And even when no one believed in me and was like, how are you going to do that? It's not possible. You don't have a visa. You don't speak French. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm going. So I moved to Montreal and I used to sit in Cirque du Soleil headquarters with incense and candles and meditate and ask the universe, like, oh, please let me into the Cirque du Soleil. Like, this is my point of like, be careful what you ask for. Because I was walking one day, and Cirque du Soleil, there's an artist entrance, and you need a badge to get in. And I was walking there, and some guy came out and held the door for me, like, come on in. And I was like, oh, fuck. Should I go? Should I not go? Oh, my God, I'm going to go. I'm not going to go. And I walked in, and I was like, pretend I know where I'm going. Go where I'm going. Keep walking. There was a security like desk to my right, and then I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep walking. And then I walked. I went in. I did it. I was in Cirque du Soleil. I got what I asked for. And then I was like, what the fuck do I do? So I panicked, and I turned around, and I tried to go out the door, but I couldn't because you need one of those magnetic badges to get back out the door. So I turned to security, and he kind of laughed and was like, do you need to get out? I was like, yeah. So anyway, that happened. But then shortly after that, I ended up having the opportunity to one of the casting directors from Cirque du Soleil. We met in Montreal, and we were doing, there's this show called Black and Blue, and it's one of the biggest charity events for raising money for HIV and AIDS awareness in Montreal. So they do this every year, and Cirque du Soleil was doing the show that year. And so I met this casting director who brought me in, and I ended up going to Cirque du Soleil headquarters every day and rehearsing and doing a show, as well as getting into the national. So I started training at the National Circus School as a professional, working with the coaches outside of the school, but still being able to use the facilities as a professional and as a student. So by moving there, I guess everything fell in line and came together. I don't know.
Nice.
Does all that make sense? Because I
It
just
makes
fucking
sense.
threw up a lot of shit and I'm rambling. We did a shot before.
Disclaimer: we took a tequila
But it's
shot.
funny because I've never actually. First of all, I don't really. There's something you need to know about me and we just met for the first time the other day actually, and I don't talk about my work and my past, and that doesn't define me as a person, and I feel that's really important. Like for me, I'm doing what I love to do, and my life and my path and my purpose. So I'm not trying to like throw in people's faces. We didn't talk about what I did the other day as well. So I've never really shared my journey or my path or my experience of getting to where I'm at now as well. So this whole Montreal experience and all that stuff, I think it's the first time I'm really sharing and communicating too, because I say I'm shy. I know I might not come off that way, but for me, I don't feel like, understand what I'm saying, right?
I do. So also in your show reel, there was some reality TV shows. Yeah. Let's dive into that. How was it being on those shows, and first of all, which shows were you on, and then how was it?
Seriously? Well, I've done a few game shows throughout my life, as well as some reality shows, whatever, like little cameo moments. But when I was young too, I did this game show called Street Smarts, and I won like $3,500, which no one ever won, and I won. Wow. And then let's see, what else? Did America's Got Talent. Did this really so there's this game show on the Sci-Fi Network. It was called Total Blackout. So kind of like what was that show? Fear Factor. Kind of like Fear Factor, but in the dark, total darkness. So basically, you had to do everything in the dark. It was the most traumatizing thing I've ever experienced in my life. And you can find it online, actually.
We're going to watch your show reel at the end of this. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it.
But, oh my God, like I had to see a therapist afterwards. It was that bad. Well, they sent us anyway, because just to make sure we were okay. So Total Blackout. And then there's this really bad one. I don't even know if I should. It was some, when I say, it was some gay reality show. I don't mean gay as like that shit was gay. I mean like it was really gay. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, they zoomed in on your dick, so there was.
So yeah, I won't even say the name of that because I can't even watch it online. And then I did an episode of what is it called? What's the baking show?
Top Chef.
Top Chef, Just Desserts. Yeah. So I performed in that show, and then the contestants had to create a dessert based off of our aerial performance.
Yeah.
Did an episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I don't know, just a lot
That's
of
a ton
random
of shows.
stuff.
Did you have an agent?
So as a circus artist, for all this stuff, to be honest with you, I've booked on my own and through myself, and only the big jobs like Kylie and things like that I've used a manager for, because I was an actor before I did circus. So I've done TV and film and commercials, and there are movies and things out there that I've done. But when I transitioned into circus, I found that every job and opportunity I already knew about, or I was contacted before my agent did anything. Like, I feel like agents don't specifically know how to deal with or handle circus artists. But hold on, I don't want to get people like all ruffled up. I haven't had an agent in LA for about 10 years. So just to be clear, maybe things have changed now since circus is so relative in the industry. So during my time, I just making that clear.
Yeah.
I found that my reputation and people came because of the career that I created and the opportunity and things like that. So yes, I had an agent, but I had an agent for more commercial stuff, film and television and things like that. Circus wise, I didn't find it beneficial because I was able to.
It's usually word of mouth or something that refers you anyways. I never had an agent either. And like, I got really good at the email stuff, like pretty young age.
Yeah.
Like you learn to like adapt, and you're like, oh, I should start like getting better at emailing, that kind of stuff, and presenting yourself and like grabbing an opportunity when it's there. Like someone's like, hey, they're hiring for this show. You better be on your computer in like an hour 100%. Or that spot gets casted right away.
So just now that we're shifting into that, if I can share with you, I think the most important thing is you have to be proactive. You have to, like, I learned how to hustle living in Los Angeles because that's what you have to do to survive. Otherwise, you're going to get eaten up, chewed out, and spit out. Like, and I know some people, like I've said that before, and they're like, well, what does hustling mean? What does that mean? Exactly what you're saying. You have to be proactive and like take advantage of every opportunity, send an email, contact whoever, like every single day, taking the opportunity to move yourself forward.
Yep.
A long time ago, I made a list of things that were important for me that I found have worked and have been something that I've stuck by, is like making a list every day of 3 things that you can do for yourself and your career or your dreams, or what are 3 things that I can do today to help move me forward in accomplishing the things that I want to accomplish, even if it's sending an email, opening the newspaper, or like, you know what I mean? So for me, exactly, you just hit the nail on the head. I think that's the most important thing, is being proactive, being active, and doing whatever. Don't say like, I'm going to wait till I'm in shape. I'm going to wait till I have the perfect show. I'm going to wait. No, be in the moment and like take advantage of every opportunity, because you never know. And I think that's it, is putting yourself out there and allowing people to have the opportunity to make whatever decision they want. You know what I mean? So
grabbing like the low hanging fruit while it's there. Like
totally.
Someone's like, hey, look at that apple. You better grab that apple.
And you know what?
Right
Even
away.
if I don't know how the fuck I'm going to grab that apple, bitch, I'm going to fucking climb to however I can to get that apple, because that's what you need to do. And that's how, to be honest with you, I've managed to become successful, or so successful in a short amount of time, without having a background in gymnastics, in circus. I'm not from a 5th generation circus family, but like I said, I had a dream and I grabbed that motherfucking apple. So I encourage, and I agree with you. And there's a fly bothering Tanner right now. It's like zooming around his head.
This stupid fly has been here for hours, just bugging us. I don't want to get distracted by this stupid fly, but what? Yeah, no, you got to grab the low-hanging fruit while it's there. And, like, you got to say yes to a lot of things that you aren't qualified for. But if you get an opportunity, like, for example, for me, the beginning of my business was I got an opportunity to help create the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Sports Awards and do the trampoline act for that kind of stuff.
Cool.
And they literally found my YouTube channel like, hey, can you put together a trampoline act? Really, I should have said no, but I was like, of course I can.
Well, and I agree with you too. Like, I know this also is another not cliche thing, but like, fake it till you make it. To be honest with you, it's so true, because I think the first opportunities in my career, one of my first jobs, I was hired for hoop, and rope is my specialty. And I'm like, can you do hoop? Absolutely. Yep. I've never touched that thing in my entire life. But yes, I can. You know what I mean? Yes. And you pull that shit out of your ass and you make it happen. Mm-hmm. And that's how it works, literally, like half the time. But I think that's also a skill set and something learned, and being able to be in a position to fly by the seat of your pants and like be able to adapt in any moment and make the things work. So I'm about finding, like, what is it called when people are like, there's problems? I'm finding solutions instead of problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there
like,
you go.
So, yeah, making everything work. Where there's a will, there's a way. Get that fly. Yo! He didn't get it.
Sorry.
We've been trying to get these flies literally for like hours, and they're like Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, we had a party the other day and left the door open pretty much the whole party, so there's flies in the house. Even though we're in the basement, they figured out a way to get down here. But yeah, you gotta grab the bull by its horns, or what's the best way to say that?
Well, I didn't know about that about you, so that's exciting. And now that you're learning a little bit more about me and I'm getting to know more about you, maybe there's an opportunity for collaboration in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not very good at like probably everything that you're good at, actually. I'm very dumb when it comes to like costuming and music timing. Like I don't choreograph to 8 counts or anything like that. Or yeah, I don't know. You just got to be aware with your weaknesses and like
absolutely.
Yeah. Try not to do everything, because you're obviously going to have your own weaknesses. And like for me, like I was like, oh, I could be a lighting designer. I could like get this going. And then I got all the lighting, I got all the equipment, and I was like, how do you work this thing?
Totally.
Spent like 3 days, and I was like, all right, we're just going to put it on sound. But yeah, you got to, I don't know. You got to really diversify yourself. And even like the other day, I got offered to do a video or a music video, and I said no because I was like, oh, I don't really do music videos. And then after I was like, damn it, maybe I could do music videos if I would have like taken that opportunity. And all you really need as a performer is like you just need the video footage of you doing it to send to someone else, and then you're hired. And like now you can add that to your resume of things you can do. You just need the video footage, basically.
Well, yes and no.
Yes. I know, I simplified it, but
yeah.
For sure.
But going back, I don't know, this popped in my head when you were talking about weaknesses, and it reminded me of accepting jobs. And this job I was 100% qualified for, or overqualified for, was when I was on tour with Kylie Minogue. But it was one of my most challenging jobs where I've never felt more insecure at times. So this is all like a learning and growing experience. And again, something I don't or haven't shared with people, and now I'm sharing it to the world. So, but like I was hired as a circus aerial specialist working with 18 dancers. So I was responsible for maintaining the choreography and working with these aerialists. And we're talking about the best dancers in the world who've worked with every celebrity there possibly is. And then me coming in, who's not a dancer, I can 5, 6, 7, 8, but it's going to take me a few more times than it takes them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So there was this sense of like, we come from different worlds and different places, and like me feeling like they're like, who the fuck do you think you are telling me how to do my job? You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But again, this just goes like where there's like, I feel our greatest, like, not weaknesses, but where the opportunity where we're our greatest challenge is our greatest growth, if that makes sense. So being challenged in every situation, or maybe accepting a job you don't feel comfortable in, this music video or whatever, or being in a situation where I feel like but then also being human and getting in our heads, we also create things that don't exist. And like, obviously I was there for a reason and deserved and meant to be there, but I created you know what I mean? So I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Can you just cut and delete this shit? My point is like you said about fear and insecurities and all this stuff. Life is real. We're people, whatever. It's all about all of these things. And I think that's what makes you an amazing artist, a successful artist. Everything is like not pretending to always be perfect, because we're never always perfect, period. Like, and just being real and being human. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we are going to end it on that, because I know you have to get to...
Are you sure? He's like, this guy's embarrassing himself now.
I know that you have to teach a class in 30 minutes, and we're going to watch your show reel real quick.
Fuck.
So for those of you who are listening on Spotify and iTunes, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe. And this is Michael Lipari.
Wait, can I add my Instagram to this?
Yeah. We're gonna do another outro for the YouTube audience too.
Okay.
But this is just for the Spotify because they can't obviously watch the show reel.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because it's audio only. Okay. And now we're watching the show reel. Oh, I screwed up. It was supposed to play on that computer. All right.
Hold on, here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8.
We just finished this a second ago. This is Michael's new reel. Tilt your head back a little bit, actually. So we got the America's Got Talent, the news. I love this part, actually, because you just drop. I was even like, what? Was that real? Sharon is great.
I love
Is she
Sharon.
still on the show?
She's
do you know?
amazing. No, she's not on the show.
She's not? I can imagine that doing that show so many years, you'd eventually be toasted on it. Because Howie's still on it, right?
Howie's still there, but you know what? I saw something she did in an interview where she was talking about the boys didn't play nice, and so she left. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
And that was why? I wonder
Because she said it was a man's
the guy hosts?
Yeah, I mean,
Huh.
she was just saying like it's a man's world, and she felt very like pushed out, kind of.
Yeah.
Those aren't my words. I saw something she posted. There's
Ellen. How? So this was 2007, you said, right?
Yeah. Can't you tell?
No, you look the same age.
I get that a lot. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, that fire throw.
I forgot Nelly Furtado.
Cox.
That was the Jerry Lewis telethon. Kind of know.
This kind of looks like Le Rev. Have you seen that show?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like Le
It
Rev.
used to be my favorite show.
Yeah.
Used to be.
Have you done any of the Cirque shows here in Vegas?
I was part of the creation of Light, which was the Cirque du Soleil nightclub at Mandalay Bay.
Oh, dope.
So I was there, and then I did the Cirque du Soleil charity event, One Night for One Drop, in 2015 or 16. And then I've done corporate events and gigs also.
Yeah. Oh, this is the fun one. This is the Pitch Black TV show. Man up.
If you want to laugh,
That's got to be terrifying because anytime you're in pitch black, you cannot see anything. It's so scary when you lose one of your senses.
And the producers were messing with us pretty badly,
for sure.
actually. It was, traumatizing. So when I was doing a show in Turkey,
This looks like it's in Greece.
well, it was like the Romans.
The Roman
invaded
stuff.
also, in Turkey as well. We have a world record doing this
Highest
hot air
aerial act or
balloon
something,
thing.
right?
Yeah, they also did a slack line in between the two balloons.
That's crazy.
That was the Cirque du Soleil One Night for One Drop with Leona Lewis.
Rest in peace, Cirque du Soleil.
Right. Well, and to be honest, I'm really happy to be here and speaking on behalf of artists and entertainment, and I think it's, super important at this time for sure. And hopefully we're able to get back on our feet soon.
Yeah. I think it was mostly the investors for Cirque du Soleil that were screwing it up rather than like actually Cirque du Soleil themselves, since they've now been bought out by investors. Anytime that happens to a company, it's usually downhill pretty quick. And this is Taylor Swift, right?
Yeah, that was Taylor Swift at the Billboard Music Awards last year.
That was last year?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
See, I still got it in 40
Nice.
bits.
All right, we're going to cut it right there so you're not too late for your...
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity and the time to be here. And I'm open to like answering questions, or if people have, I don't know, want to reach out, want to talk.
Yeah, so what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Me in the Air. MEINTHEAIR. Me in the Air.
Nice. Awesome. And thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. We will see you in the next one.
Thanks,
Peace.
guys.